What's going on, my fellow high-stim pre-workout enthusiasts? Hope you guys are having an incredible high-stim Saturday. Today we are going to be reviewing a pre-workout that not many people have heard of, and this one here comes to us from our good friends over at Project M Supplements. They actually sent me a couple of their pre-workouts, and there are some announcements to be made in the near future, so definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. But today we are going to be reviewing a unique product, one that has a very iconic and, dare I say, controversial figure on the cover, and that figure is none other else than President Trump. How about that? I've never had a political figure, let alone the President of the United States, appear on a tub of pre-workout before, so it should definitely make for an interesting experience. Now, normally I don't like swearing on the channel, it's just not something that I'm into doing, but this pre-workout is called Mindfuck, right? So that is the name of the pre-workout, and this, once again, like I said earlier, comes to us from Project M Supplements, which, by the way, they have a lot of crazy stuff cooking on their website. I'm going to let you know later where you can check them out and grab a couple of stuff with a discount code. I got a nice, juicy discount code for you guys to save you all the money that you can possibly save. Now, we're going to roll that intro, and when we come back, we're going to discuss flavor, label, and effects in the gym where it matters most. Let's get to it. So looking at the tub here, this is indeed a unique looking graphic design because you have President Trump on here. Yeah, President Trump, and he is facing off against the alien, the predator, cyber runner. I don't know what the heck that's supposed to be, but I guess it makes the name of this pre-workout very, very appropriate. Extreme pre-workout, by the way, extreme stim pre-workout, the golden era, as is appropriate because we have the golden dawn here on the cover. He claims to provide pump, focus, fire, energy, sweat, right? And then when you turn it around a little bit, you have the label here. We're going to go through that in a moment. And of course, telling you how to actually consume the drink. Coconut, pineapple, vanilla flavor. They do come with a few other flavors, but yeah, this right here is the tub. It looks freaking cool. Yes, indeed. Definitely a cool looking tub, an interesting concept, and one that might be surrounded with a little bit of controversy, depending on which side of the political aisle you stand on. But regardless, we are here to talk pre-workout and gym, and politics, I really couldn't care less. Now, the flavor we have on here, this is the coconut, pineapple, vanilla flavor. I think it does come in like two other flavors, but this is the flavor I got here, and it's a pretty good flavor. It essentially tastes like a pina colada with a little bit of like a candy hint to it. So maybe that's coming from the vanilla, but it tastes like a pina colada. It's got a little bit of the artificial kick in the background, which usually leads me to believe that it does have the yum-yums in here. And that is always a good thing, especially on high-stim Saturdays. So overall, the flavor is very solid. I like it. And now we can move on to the label. Now, looking at the supplement facts here, serving size is 1 scoop, which comes in at 23.5 grams, at least according to the label. And you are supposed to get 25 servings per container in here, which is great value for money, especially in 2025. Now, I did weigh this one out all 3 times that I ran it, and this one comes in really, and I mean really, really light. About 16 to 17 grams on the scale at a flat scoop, as opposed to the 23.5 that it's supposed to come with. So either you're going to have to heap it or take like a scoop and a half, scoop and 3/4, or better yet, just weigh it out with a digital kitchen scale. You guys are about to pick up a President Trump themed pre-workout. The least you can do is get yourself a cheap digital scale off of Amazon. Now, with that being said, we are going to begin the label. It's broken up here into what seems to be 5 categories. It looks very different than anything I've seen in a while. It's unique, and we're going to begin right now. We start off with the pump category, which has 2 ingredients in here: citrulline malate, 2-to-1 ratio, 6,000 milligrams. So not a crazy dose of citrulline. You're going to get 4 grams of L-citrulline, which is kind of the bare essential. It's still going to get the job done. You're still going to get the blood flow. You're going to get some pumps, but it's not like a crazy super mega dose, especially in this day and age where people are dosing like 8 to 10 grams of L-citrulline. But I do like citrulline malate. I like the malic acid. It bonds really well to that citrulline. And for me personally, it activates the pumps on a larger scale. We're going to talk about the pumps in the effect section. We also do have sodium nitrate in here at 1,000 milligrams, and that is going to round off the pump matrix. For focus, we have choline bititrate coming in at a whopping 4,500 milligrams. Wow, 4.5 grams of choline bititrate. That is a big dose, going to help with that nootropic focus and really have you dialed in on the mission at hand. And then we have Araya genesis at 250 milligrams. That is always a good thing, give you a nice floaty head high, good mood elevation in the gym. And then we have 2-amino isoheptane, DMHA. Very, very nice. This is coming along really nicely. 100 milligrams for the DMHA. So you guys may be asking, is this the synthetic lab-made yum-yums that we know and love, or is this the more naturally occurring Juglans Regia? You're going to have to tune in to find out. But 100 milligrams isn't a crazy dose. To me, it's very reminiscent of the M2 pre-workout from Mind Muscle Nutrition, which I did review a couple of months back. You guys can check that out on my reviews playlist. I have that in my video description, so you guys can check that out. But 100 milligrams theoretically should provide a bit of mood elevation, a little bit of a head high, but not be too overwhelming, which is the theme I'm sensing that this pre-workout is trying to go for. We have Huperzine A, 1% EL, 2.5 milligrams, and alpha yohimbine, 2.5 milligrams. Why the hell is alpha yohimbine under the focus matrix? That is that is interesting, okay? That is definitely interesting. But you know, when we get these interesting, unique, inconsistent labels, it usually does mean that the goods are present in here. So we're going to have to see what this tub here is all about. Now, the next category is simply called fire. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Does that mean thermogenesis? I don't know. It just says fire. And the one ingredient we have in here is beta-alanine at 4,000 milligrams. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Moving on to the energy matrix. L-taurine, 2,000 milligrams, okay. N-acetyl L-tyrosine, 1,500 milligrams. That should be in the focus matrix, not in the energy matrix. And the alpha-yo should be in the energy matrix. It needs to be flipped around, okay? Maybe they got to hit up high-stim A's to do the labeling next time, but it's definitely interesting. Caffeine anhydrous, 350 milligrams, okay, solid dose. And caffeine citrate, 50 milligrams, a pretty low dose, but theoretically should give you a little bit of a boom to get you started in your workout. And lastly, we have the sweat category, which is interesting because I assumed that fire meant thermogenesis, but apparently not. Okay, by the way, I'm reading this label for the first time, okay? I mean, obviously I glanced through it when I received the product, but I didn't like study it meticulously. I'm actually really going through this for the first time right now, which is why you're getting my genuine reaction to this, and it's very, very entertaining. But under the sweat category, which is the last category, we have synephrine HCl at 30 milligrams, so that is going to help a little bit with sweating. That's a good dose, not going to be too crazy. Vitamin B3 as niacin. You guys know, how I feel about that niacin, right? But we have 20 milligrams in here, which is good. To me, 20 to 25 milligrams is the absolute cutoff point. Anything above that usually does not result in a good time for high-stim A's. But lastly, we have bioperine here, black pepper extract at 5 milligrams for the absorption. But once again, it's in the sweat category. So disregard all these categories because whoever did this, they need to do a little bit more research. Consult with high-stim Ace next time, and I'll let you know how it's done right. But overall, the label looks solid. It's interesting. It seems to be a good medium type of stim pre-workout. We're going to talk about it, and I'll let you know what I think. Before high-stim Ace breaks down my experience running the Mindfuck pre-workout, don't forget to like this video, comment below, share the channel with a fellow stim junkie or a pre-workout enthusiast, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Alright guys, we are finally here, the effect section, aka the most important part of this review. Well, that's not necessarily true. Every part of this review is important. High-stim Ace is important. Everything I say is important. But kidding aside, guys, this is the section that most of you are waiting for. Now, this is a very unique and interesting experience. Label being funny and funky aside, it's an interesting experience. Now, I didn't go into this one expecting to be stimmed out of my mind. I didn't expect like a crazy, super underground illicit product, but what I did expect was to have a nice light mood elevation in the background, good, clean, consistent energy, and a little bit of stimulation and thermogenesis from, they do claim 2.5 milligrams of alpha-yo, which is a pretty hefty dose. Now, high-stim Ace can handle alpha-yo, but 2.5 milligrams is definitely no slouch. So I expected this to be like a slow build, semi-good mood elevating type of product with a little bit of thermogenesis and physical stimulation coming about. Now, I wasn't completely off with my initial assessment of it, but it works a little differently than I expected. So the first 15-20 minutes of this pre-workout are pretty uneventful. There isn't a lot going on in terms of mental or physical stimulation. You're going to feel a little bit of beta tingles, nothing crazy, maybe like a 3 or 4 on the beta tingle scale, but definitely nothing overpowering. Even with the 20 milligrams of niacin, which usually enhances the tingles, nothing crazy. No niacin flush, no itchies, nothing like that. Just a good, clean beta tingle. Doesn't last a very long time. It fades relatively quickly, but it gets you going, at least on a physical level. Now, at 20-25 minutes, you're going to get a nice, clear focus, very nootropic feeling focus, and you do have a lot of choline in here, which is definitely going to contribute to that. 350 milligrams of caffeine. It's a respectable dose. It's not like a crazy stim junkie dose like 500 milligrams, but it's a very solid dose. And you do have the Araya in here at 250 milligrams. You have the DMHA, at least that's what it says on label, right? You do get a nice little floaty head high going about 20, 25 minutes into it. It's not a crazy over-the-top illicit feeling, right? So you're not going to be like in this crazy bubble where you're dancing and you're bopping with the music and you're looking like a fool in the gym in between sets. It's not one of these types of products, but it is a very clean, nootropic, and productive type of product, right? So you are still very much in control. You're in the driver's seat, and you need to push a little bit initially for this pre-workout to do its thing. So if you're used to taking these crazy alpha yo bombs like Edge of Insanity or Crack the OG or Hypermaxed or any of these other products that have like a crap ton of alpha yo, usually those will nudge you initially. You don't really have to do much. You just take the drink and essentially you're on autopilot, just hopped up off your mind. You're not going to be hopped up on this one. You're going to have to put in a little bit of initial work to activate this pre-workout, but I kind of like that because it works with you and it's something that's not going to overstimulate you both mentally or physically. The label claims to have 2.5 milligrams of alpha-yo, but I'm going to be honest, guys, as somebody who can handle a lot of alpha-yo, I did not get 2.5 milligrams of alpha-yo on here. To me, this felt like one, maybe, and I mean maybe 1.5 at most. I did not get that crazy alpha-yo buzz, that fight or flight, over-the-top stimulation that usually alpha-yo will provide you with. Did not get any of that. It did feel like there was a little bit of alpha-yo in here because it gave you a little bit of sense of urgency. It made you push a little bit harder once you're locked in about 30, 35 minutes and onwards, but there was no crazy sense of urgency pushing you and really making you a freaking beast in the gym. But the strength of this pre-workout, actually a couple of strengths. First of all, is a very clean, nootropic feeling sense of well-being. This feels like a very clean product. It says DMHA on the label, but heck, guys, this feels like something I could run 3, hell, even 4 days a week with no negative side effects. There's no shrinkage, no delayed urination, no stimmy willy on here, no issue sleeping. So this is a very clean type of product, but there is a little bit of like that illicitness, but it's very, very much in the background, right? So there's something that's kind of making you feel good in the background, but it's not overtaking you. Again, you are very much in the driver's seat and you're in charge of everything going on. So is this high-stim Saturday worthy? It depends. It really depends what you're looking for in high-stim Saturday. For me, I would say it falls a little bit underneath the mark, but this is something I could run after work at like 5, 6 o'clock at night. I can get in a good hour and a half, hour and 40-minute workout, and I don't have to worry about dealing with all the potential side effects that come with all these crazy illicit hitters, not being able to sleep, dealing with insomnia, anxiety, crazy shakes in the gym, elevated heart rate, none of that. But surprisingly, what you do get on here, the two things that really took me completely by surprise were a nice sense of thermogenesis. You're going to sweat on this one, surprisingly. And usually it's funny because when you have these pre-workouts that you sweat a lot on, it also comes with a sense of urgency because the ingredients are kind of synonymous, right? So like the El Jefe Fuego, which I reviewed recently, that one was a crazy thermogenic, but combined with the Alpha-Yo, it just made you go, go, go nonstop. And it came with this crazy burst of energy and sweating, and it was intertwined as one. Now, this one here, you're going to get the sweats. I don't know if it's just from the synephrine or combined with the alpha-yo, but there's definitely a nice sweat that comes about in this one, despite the fact that my gym was blasting the AC today, and it was actually kind of chilly. I was still sweating, and I was still very much in it. But there isn't like this crazy sense of over-the-top fight or flight, nothing like that. So a nice sweat comes with it, which is good because I'm always trying to lean out a little bit, so extra sweating never hurt. And surprisingly, the other thing that was really good in here was the pumps. Despite the pump formula seeming very bare bones, I actually got a very good pump on this one, kind of got me a little swole, and I don't know what to attribute that to, but again, labels are just labels in the end of the day, right? It matters about how the ingredients come together, how well it's sourced, but I don't know, I was very pumped up today. I hit chest, I hit triceps, a little bit of biceps, and I was just really swollen juicy today, so I can't complain about that. Obviously, if you want to stack pumps on this, you could, because according to the label, the pump formula is pretty mid, but I don't know, I got really good pumps on this one. So thermogenesis, pumps, and a nice nootropic sense of well-being and a good clean focus. Those are all the stars of the show. But if you're taking this one here and expecting like a crazy underground bunker formula stim junkie pre-workout, this ain't it. If I had to compare this to any pre-workout I reviewed recently, then I would have to compare it to the M2 pre-workout. Like I said at the top of the video, very, very similar feeling to the M2, which I also believe had 100 milligrams of DMHA. It feels clean. There's no negative side effects. There's not any over-the-top jitters, no anxiety, no heavy breathing, no stimmy willy, no negatives essentially. It's a good, clean, positive experience, but nothing that's going to blow your head off. It's suitable to take 3 or 4 times a week, and I think it's a very solid product. If you guys are interested in picking up Mindfuck from Project M Supplements, then you can head over to the official website and use discount code ACE20 at checkout to save 20% off your entire order and help support the high-stim Ace YouTube channel. I'm going to link it down below. I'm going to pin the comment, and check out, they have a bunch of other pre-workouts on there. They have a lot of cool, unique, innovative products as well. I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff from them, so I'm going to be dropping reviews. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what the heck you're doing. Subscribe to the high-stim Ace YouTube channel while you're at it. Give me a big like on this video to help with the algorithm, and follow me on Instagram at high-stim Ace. I will see you all next time for the next high-stim pre-workout review. Take care, everybody. High-stim Ace, signing off.